Artist Mikael Avatar here. My life story. So where did it begin? I was born with cerebral palsy in 1968, the same year Bob Demon took a world record in long jump in Mexico City. And further, Mike Powell took his world record 91, I think 91 in Tokyo. I was a long jumper previous in my life. 20 years ago, I had the world record in long jump. That's why I talk about long jump. So, 68, I was born. I couldn't breathe, so I was not breathing, and it says that I was dead for 12 minutes. In the journal, my mom say it's more than 45 minutes. They have put me, the babies, amongst the babies who were dead, and the nurse find me after 45 minutes still alive. So that was the beginning of my life. The doctor wanted to thank my mama. No, my mom thanked the doctor for saving the life of her child, but the doctor told her, "Don't thank me yet," because the doctor knew how difficult it is for a person to begin the life being born without oxygen for a long time. So my hands were like this when I grew up. My head was bent down. I talked when I breathe in and not when you breathe out. It was a lot of difficulties to understand me when I was young. But I was a normal guy, normal boy. Growing up, I wanted to learn how to bicycle. So in the Sweden where I was born, they ordered special wheels for me so I could train to do bicycling. But they didn't really tell me because I rented my friend's bicycle outside and I learned how to bicycle by myself. And it meant I scratched my body, I fell down all the time. I wasn't scared when I grew up. I climbed mountain, break my teeth many times, fell down from mountains, fell down from bicycles, and many things. They didn't convince me that I was different than other people. When I was 7, I wanted to do what my friend did. My friend, he did judo, and judo, you need to grab and throw people around, and I convinced my mother I want to do this, and as a 7-year-old boy, maybe that's the only thing you need to really do to convince your parents that you want to do this thing. But my mom told me that I really needed to understand that I was differently, but I convinced her and I started training judo. And judo for me, it was, if you have your hands like this, thumb is in the middle, I couldn't drink water, so it's very hard to open a bottle. You need to take your teeth. You can't really. It's very difficult. But in judo, I learned to open my hand so I could do the grabs that other people did in judo. I had a music teacher. It's at the same time that helped me open my hands, and I learned to play the piano. I learned drumming. I learned a lot about music too. So I didn't really have uh, the passion to be great, to be like get rid of my cerebral palsy or something like that. I just did fun stuff. I loved judo. I loved making music, and it turned out that it helped me open my hands. It helped me breathe differently, so I could talk better, so people can understand me. And that was about that around when I was 7 to 14, 15 years old. I went to a normal school. First I was in a special class, but I changed to that, to a normal class and went 9 years. 9 years was the school limit in Sweden at that time. I think it's even now. I took some higher education in robotics, robot technique, and then I went into the university, but they threw me out because the sponsor of the university didn't give me any place to do my practitioner, so I couldn't continue. And that was around 87. So 87, I started to study mathematics, physics, and give me for 1 year double years. So I studied like 3 years in 1 year to get a higher to get a higher education. But I jumped off when it was like 1 month before because I applied for being on a boat. So I crossed the Atlantic Ocean in a boat with 4 people, a captain and a chef. And one was blind, he could see 0.01. One had no legs, he was a doctor. One had no arms. And I think he was a lawyer, and one was me. I think we were the first disabled boat crossing the Atlantic Ocean in 1988. After that, I started my career as a sportsman. I applied for a sports school. I came in 90, and I didn't come to the 92 Paralympics, but 96 Paralympics I made it. So there was a lot of things going on, but my passion was jumping. I was in the final of 100 and 200 meters too, but jumping was the passion of my life. And I had the world record for 12 years, I think, and the Paralympic record for 4 Paralympics. And after that, 1997, I came home and I wondered, what's life about? What is life really about? And here my real story begins. The story of finding me in my life. I had been in this school world, but they treat me differently. I have been in this sport world, very strange place. I used to say to people that the most craziest room I have ever been in, it was the last core room for 100 meter, the 100-meter final in Paralympic 1996. There were so ego people in that room. It was totally crazy energy in this room. There was a Korean guy, American guy, I from Sweden, a guy from England, and we had all our different way of preparing for the 100-meter final. I remember the American guy, he was crazy. He put on his shoes and he just ran out screaming, "Ah!" and scared all the people around. But I didn't care. I was in my world so focused on the 100-meter final. I think it's the biggest achievement that you can do in life, to be in a 100-meter final in the Olympic or Paralympic. This semi-final, I had a friend, he competed for Spain. He was in the Swedish team, but he moved to Spain and he came in the Spanish Paralympic team. And I met him in the semi-final. My coach told me, he don't care if I come to the final or not. You have to be before him. I had 13.98 in the semi-final. He had 14.01. That's 300 of a second different. And we had one person between us at 14.00. This is how difficult it's 300 of a second to come to the final, the 100-meter in the Paralympic or the Olympic. It doesn't matter. It's the main event in the Olympics. But long jump was my primary goal. I broke the world record in front of 68,000 people in Atlanta. So this is part one of my life story. I don't know if this makes sense at all. Please make a comment. So part one, end of part one. See you in the next movie.